Acción. Muy buenos días, bienvenidos al primer día de seminarios de la Asamblea Anual del BID y BID Invest 2023. Felices de recibirlos en nuestra hermosa ciudad de Panamá. Y por supuesto, mi nombre es Caroline Schmidt y junto a mi compañero José Bravo vamos a estar acompañándolos estos 2 días de seminario. José, un placer estar contigo estos 2 días.
Encantado de compartir el escenario contigo y saludar a nuestro público aquí en el Panama Convention Center y a nuestra audiencia a nivel global que se conecta a través de las distintas plataformas del BID.
Bueno, y estamos felices y no queremos que se pierdan ningún detalle de lo que va a pasar estos 2 días, por eso los invitamos a que descarguen la app de la reunión que está en la página del BID, liveevents.aidb.org. Ahí van a poder encontrar las agendas, fotos y videos de estos 2 días.
Y ya estamos listos para iniciar nuestro programa de hoy con la participación del presidente del BID, el señor Ilan Goldfein. Lo recibimos con un fuerte aplauso.
Good morning, buenos días, bon dia, bonjour. Let me start by thanking the government and the people of Panama for welcoming us to their beautiful country and hosting our annual meeting. We are very happy to be here with you and with everyone connected online. Thank you. The last time with the IDB and the IDB Invest governors met here, it was a decade ago. The Panama Canal's expansion had not yet been completed. We are proud to have supported such an important project which doubled the canal's transit capacity, ensuring the optimal operation of one of the world's most vital trade routes. As some of you might recall, IDB Invest provided a substantial loan for the project. But what is less known is that we also helped solve some complex planning issues that significantly reduce the expansion's environmental impact. That advisory capacity highlights our true additional value. We are a true knowledge bank. What really sets us apart is the work we do with our countries, to support you in addressing some of your most pressing problems. And that's what today's seminars are all about. The agenda for the next 2 days covers several important priority topics. Take the case of poverty and inequality, 2 of our region's most persistent development problems. The seminar on these 2 topics will provide us an overview of the cutting-edge thinking about how to tackle them, touching on how to create more efficient and adaptive social protection models. We'll also look at how we can improve social policy, focusing on aspects like human capital formation and the design of social insurance and also tax policy. Women and historically disadvantaged groups are still woefully underrepresented in our region's labor force. Consequently, they tend to earn less income and have fewer opportunities to prosper. This is a self-reinforcing vicious cycle we need to break. So we'll have a session on how public and private sector leaders can collaborate to remove barriers that prevent a huge part of our population from realizing their full potential. We will also discuss some of the concrete steps countries and companies are taking to address these problems. And we will have a presentation on what the future could look like if we narrowed our glaring social and economic gaps. Not all our development challenges are exclusively Latin America or Caribbean. We also face global scale problems, for example, climate change. Several of our developing member countries, particularly in Central America, the Caribbean, are among the world's most vulnerable to the impacts of climate change. So, we'll have a seminar focusing on climate action, from the necessary coordination between ministries, environmental agencies, to help countries pursue measures to reduce their carbon footprint. We will also make time to analyze opportunities for the private sector to take a leading role in making our economies more climate resilient and advancing more rapidly toward a low-carbon future. A separate seminar will focus on two issues: food security and sustainable energy. While our region already is a major food producer and has the potential to be an even bigger exporter, our agriculture areas are under the constant threat of climate change. Making matters worse, the geopolitical crisis, as you all know, triggered by the Russian invasion of Ukraine, disrupted global grain and food markets, and also supplies, spurring inflation to levels the world hadn't seen in decades. So today, we will be discussing what our region can do to capitalize its comparative advantage for food production while addressing aspects like sustainability, equity, and we still have huge disparities within our countries, particularly in rural areas. We will also talk about the green energy transition. The region, and I'm talking about Latin America and the Caribbean, made great strides in recent years by boosting renewable energy generation capacity. But you know, as the electricity demand is forecast to grow by almost 50% by the end of this decade, we need to do more. Another issue which is very relevant to us regarding climate change is the issue of biodiversity. Latin America and the Caribbean is blessed with one of the richest endowments of biodiversity in the world. We can call it natural capital that can and should be sustainably managed to obtain optimal social, economic, and environmental benefits. One of the panels in this seminar will look at how countries can mainstream this natural capital, the natural benefits, into investment decisions. We will also discuss mechanisms to achieve biodiversity benefits, including that for nature swaps, nature-based solutions to issues such as watershed management, and the active contribution of indigenous people in conservation efforts. We need to engage everybody. We will also look at the work done to engage different stakeholders around current program. We will call it the Amazon Regional Program, the Amazon Forever, that is making every effort to integrate sustainability and inclusive criteria. One of the elements to examine a concrete case is the Amazon initiative that has already started at the IDB, and the IDB is very proud to support. Another seminar will focus on sustainable, physical, and digital infrastructure with the focus on regional integration. These issues are very important for our region that still faces an historical backlog in those. We have known those for decades, that to reduce the gap with other regions, both in terms of quantity and quality, we should at least double our current level of investment in infrastructure. We need to expand and upgrade our physical and digital infrastructure. And the digital is very important to cut cost, trade cost, transportation cost, but also to be able to provide our citizens services that they rightfully clamor in the last few years. Just as importantly, we must also build climate resilience infrastructure, especially in countries exposed to tropical storms, tsunamis, earthquakes, natural disasters in general. So we will be looking at how to boost investment in the kind of infrastructure our countries need, consider new technology solutions, attracting private sector investment. We need to focus on integration. We have a shortcoming in terms of integration between our countries. We will benefit from deeper regional integration, which will also be part of our debates. The IDB, in my view, is uniquely positioned to encourage regional projects because the IDB has its mandate regional integration. We will look at successful experiences in other parts of the world. For example, as it relates to cross-border infrastructure. What about legal? What about regulatory frameworks that we can integrate? There's a lot to integrate. In short, we have today and tomorrow 2 very busy and exciting days ahead of us. Focus entirely in our major development challenges and opportunities, which you'll see feature policymakers in the seminars, practitioners, experts from across the region and around the world. I trust that you will find these seminars both thought-provoking but also practical, whether you are here with us in Panama, beautiful, but also if you are participating virtually. I sincerely believe that your interest and active participation will make these seminars more fruitful and memorable. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Mr. Goldfein, for your words. And now we are ready to begin our first seminar. Here we're going to be thinking about the fight against poverty and inequality. And